Joe Scarborough on Morning Joe, the same Joe Scarborough who has spent years branding himself as a Trump critic, says that after his controversial trip to Mar-a-Lago, he has been flooded with phone calls. And not just any phone calls, mind you. The phone calls are from literally around the world, he says, with very supportive, very positive people telling him it was so good when he and Mika Brzezinski went down to Mar-a-Lago and kissed the ring. Here is Joe Scarborough explaining it. Don't be confused, even though there is endless criticism of what he and Mika did, the epitome of access journalism. He wants us to believe they're calling him, and everybody is just thrilled at what he did.
Yesterday, I saw for the first time what a massive disconnect there was between social media and the real world, because we were flooded with phone calls from people all day, literally around the world. Very positive, very supportive.
People from Switzerland called Joe and said, "Sir, it was so good when you went down and bowed before Trump and kissed the ring. We loved it." In Malaysia, they called him and they said, "Joe, Mika, we're so thrilled you went down to Florida."
I was going, I understand what you did, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But once in a while, I would get a text or a call from someone and go, "Oh, man, I hope you're doing okay." And I call him back and I go, well, Eddie Glaude was one of them. I go, "Eddie, are you on Twitter?" And he goes, "I am." I go, "Okay, well, I'm not." So we've had a good day. Mika just had a wonderful event. It is fantastic. We're going to do all of us are going to do the best we can do, and we're all working towards a better America.
Take it day by day.
Day by day. And again,
There you go. Flooded with phone calls from around the world. It is starting to sound a lot like those Trumpian "Sir" stories. You know the ones I'm talking about? "Sir, I've never seen anything like it. People are crying. Sir, I'm hearing from the generals," except this time it's Joe Scarborough playing the part of Sir rather than Donald Trump. But here's where it gets really rich. Despite the feedback to their trip to Mar-a-Lago to reopen communications with Trump, that's what they said they did, apparently it's not going so well online, because the comments on this particular segment where they explain how great everything is, the comments are disabled. That's right. No comments allowed. So I'm guessing the feedback they were getting was not exactly the flood of positivity that Joe was talking about. Now, as we mentioned on the bonus show yesterday, and by the way, if you're not a member, what better time to join than now? This is just about the most bottom of the barrel example of access journalism that you could imagine. It's not reporting. It's not analysis. It is overt, naked, cozying up to power for the sake of being close to power. And what's worse is that the clip that started the whole thing, they had acknowledged we didn't even get an interview with Trump. We just went down to privately suck up to the guy.
Over the past week, Joe and I have heard from so many people, from political leaders to regular citizens, deeply dismayed by several of President-elect Trump's cabinet selections, and they are scared. Last Thursday, we expressed our own concerns on this broadcast and even said we would appreciate the opportunity to speak with the president-elect himself. On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that.
Right.
Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications.
Right.
My father often spoke with world leaders with whom he and the United States profoundly disagreed. That's a task shared by reporters and commentators alike. We had not spoken to President Trump since March of 2020.
All right, you get the point. It's just like when her dad, Zbigniew Brzezinski, would speak to global leaders that he didn't necessarily agree with. So this is what started it all. They went to Mar-a-Lago for what? To hang out with Trump? to schmooze, to make up after years of calling him dangerous. They jet down to Florida for a little Mar-a-Lago meet and greet. So this is indeed access journalism in its purest, most distilled, atavistic form. The idea that you need to maintain a relationship with power, even with someone like Trump, just in case you need the access down the road. But the problem is that when you play the game, you are not holding power accountable. You're actually enabling it. And don't forget that this is the same show that gave Trump untold amounts of free airtime during the 2016 campaign, and then spent years trying to rebrand themselves as part of the pro-Biden resistance, and now they're at it again. So they're at Mar-a-Lago, soaking in the flood of positive calls that Joe is getting. Sir, we in New Zealand are thrilled that you went down there. So what's happening here is obvious. It's not journalism. It's not even really entertaining. It's a grab for relevance as MSNBC ratings sink, dressed up as a global event. The world was thrilled that we reopened lines of communication with Trump. And the fact that they're disabling comments just proves that they know exactly how ridiculous this whole thing looks. So we're doing everything we can to generate a real critical ecosystem on the left, not the I'm a former Republican, but I don't like Trump and I'll kind of help Biden, but now that Trump's back in power, I want to be on Trump's good side. That's not what we're building. I told you about it yesterday. It's called Chorus. We're going to do everything we can to build a real progressive ecosystem to try to keep these people accountable. I'll say more about that soon. In the interim, if you're as disgusted by this Morning Joe stunt as we are, just make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/The David Pakman Show. Sometimes the people we are closest to are the toughest to shop for. Luckily, there's a gift everyone on your list will love. It is the Aura digital picture frame. I gave one to my mom, preloaded it with pictures of the baby and some of me, right? I mean, please, you hook it up and it's already got pictures on it. You can select pictures from your phone and upload them remotely to any picture frame. Named #1 by Wirecutter, Aura frames make it really easy to share an unlimited number of photos and videos from your phone to the frame. When you give it as a gift, you can personalize it, preload it with a message and photos using the Aura app. I don't live near my parents, so the fact that I could preload these pictures onto the frame just makes it a really great long-distance gift as well. Aura frames is a gift so special, they'll use it every day. And for a limited time, when you go to auraframes.com, my audience will get $45 off Aura's best-selling Carver mat frames by using promo code PAKMAN at checkout. The link is in the description.